I'm talking about everybody. I'm talking about people that don't like being called cis.
I don't like to be called cis. Don't
Absolutely,
call me
Mark.
cis.
That's fine, Mark, and I will not call you sis. Perfectly fine.
There you
Yeah,
go.
and I hear it. See, the issue is this. It has nothing to do with I'm offended by it. The issue is it's none of your goddamn business if I identify with what I was born with or not. That is never a topic of discussion. It is never a topic of discussion when you're out in the real world. It's never a topic of discussion when you're having drinks with friends about whether or not you identify with your sex. It doesn't matter. Like, I mean, I think that's why people get offended by it. My sex is none of your fucking business, and it's nobody else's business. Trans people or people in part of the LGBTQ insist on telling us about their sex when we don't give a shit about it. Nobody really cared about it. That's the problem that we're having. That's why a lot of people, they're not scared. Most people don't give a shit about what your sexual life is, and no one cares.
Wait,
So
what
if you're
is
going to call me a
the
cisgendered
sexuality?
man, it has everything, because either you identify with your appendages or not is sexuality. It's none of your goddamn business if I identify with what I was born with or if I do not. Unless we're having that topic at hand. Unless we're having that topic at hand where we're talking about the trans and so on and so forth, which majority of people in real life do not have this conversation. They don't give a shit about it.
Biology is sexuality?
100%.
Absolutely. That's how you tell the difference between the two sexes. It's based all on two different sexes. Two different sexes. Unless you say you're non-binary, which you're just fucked up if you say you're non-binary.
Maybe I'm a little confused because we're not talking about like being gay or anything. We're talking about whether or not you don't like the word cis. So why are you talking about sexuality? I thought we were talking about gender.
Because if you think about the word cis, it means you identify with what you were born with, sexual parts, your appendages. And that's why you're called a cis person. My appendages is none of your goddamn business. What I think of them is none of your goddamn business.
Do you believe that genitalia on its own is sexual? Do you believe genitalia is on? Do you believe that genitalia on its own is sexual?
Yes.
Yes, absolutely. What do they call sexual organs for? What do you do with them? Do you do anything else besides take a piss? And what else do you do with them? I mean, it's a sexual organ. Absolutely. I mean, they teach you that in biology, and I believe in grade 1.
Would you say sex itself is sexuality then? Like our biology is sexuality?
Yes.
No. Biology is not your sexuality. Not at all. I mean, like your sex drive or whatever drives you, okay, like your appendages is biological. What you're born with, that's called that's biological. What you think in your own mind is not.
Mark, you keep on saying that it's sexuality when it's not. We both agree that it's just a biological factor.
It's not sex, it's sexuality. It's what sex you are, male or female. But if you're thinking about your gender bullshit that you try to spew out,
so what is it?
two different things.
I'm confused because you just said that you disagree with me. You said it was just biologically, like it was biology. It wasn't.
Your sex is biological. Your sexuality, what you like, what you enjoy, is not.
So
that's why you have two sexes.
Male, female. There's sex, male,
and
female.
And when you're talking about
let's make sure we're clear here. I'm pretty sure we're all on the same page. But there's sex, male, female, and then there's sexual orientation, right? LGB, right? And then and then we go from there. I think
right. So sexuality would be sexual orientation, would it not?
Yes, sexuality, sexual orientation. Yeah.
Which is why which is why I'm confused. We're talking about cis, and you're comparing that to sexuality. That's not the same thing, Mark.
No, cis is whether or not you identify with an appendage, which is your sex, which is sex. That's your sex that people don't want to talk about. Nobody wants to fucking talk. I'm not going to go out there and talk to you about whether or not I'm a cis or not. It's none of your fucking business.
That's not. You're saying it's sexuality, but it's not. We just agreed that it's not.
It's part of it is part. Okay, sex is what you're born with. Sexuality, it's all cohesive within each other when you actually are having these discussions. If I was to sit there and say I woke up this morning and I had a problem with my my appendage or whatnot, okay, then you're going to say, well, how do you know? Well, I couldn't make love to my wife. That guy goes into sexuality. There's a problem with it if you can't have sex with it, which goes into sexuality. But whatever you deem to be your sexuality, whatever you deem to be, whatever floats your fucking boat, okay, is not biological. Whatever floats your boat is not biological, but your appendages are.
Do you believe being transsexual is a sexuality?
Transsexual is yes, it is.
It's literally
absolutely.
It's in the fucking name.
No, do you guys know the definition?
The transsexual, it absolutely is.
Are you asking if being transsexual is sexual?
No, I'm asking you.
No, that's not a sexual orientation.
We just clarified. We quite really just clarified that. Okay, I'm confused. Maybe I'm tripping. But did you say transsexual is a sexuality, Mark?
No.
Are you talking about being born transsexual? Are you saying being born transsexual? No. Where you have two appendages, two of the opposite? Are you talking about a hermaphrodite?
That's hermaphrodite.
No, I didn't ask you that. I just asked you, do you believe being transsexual is a sexuality? And you said yes. Is that what you said?
It's
called
not
transsexual.
biological. That's all in your mind. If that's what you're asking, it's not biological. No,
I didn't.
things that you think of is not biological. If you don't agree with what your appendages are, it's not biological. I'm not understanding you. Are you
So
confusing
wait,
yourself?
hold on. So there's transgender, there's transsexual, right? And then we have to realize that the largest sex organ in the body is the brain too, right? The brain is kind of biological too. So there's
But the thought isn't biological, is what it is, Vroom. You got to distinguish between the two.
no, I know, but
A thought is not biological.
I know, but there's
Maybe the
you know
brain's
Cora,
biggest
right? And
sex
you know Ruby, right? There's a difference between transgender, transsexual, and then self-identification and non-self-identification, right? It's so conflated.
I'm still confused. So,
That's all the word is. It's
everybody's
conflated. You're just conflating something.
so transsexual is just a transgender person that actually went through SRS surgery and went through the
It
aspect.
doesn't mean they don't have a penis anymore. They still have a penis. All they did was chop it up and Frankenstein it.
Mark, but that's
That's
not
all
what
they
I
did.
asked. You said that being transsexual.
Well, that's what you said. Do I believe in
So how is being
transgenders? No, they're still.
transsexual- How is transsexual asexual orientation? Let's start there.
Okay, can I ask you a question? It's got the word sexual in it, correct?
Does sexual mean sexuality?
Okay, does homosexual mean based on sexuality?
Well, I didn't ask that. I'm saying, are we talking
No,
about?
I-
If we're talking
yeah,
about
I haven't.
sexual.
Well, and see, you,
It's
Yes,
the word sexual is in
clarified
the
with Mark
fucking
5
name.
minutes ago that sexual organs does not mean sexuality. So what are you talking about, David?
Like, would you think metal worker has the word
Sexual
metal
organs
in
are
it?
not sexual orientation. Is that correct?
You asked if transsexual has anything to do with being sexual. Yes,
No, I
it is in
didn't.
the
I
fucking
asked
name.
you if it was a sexuality, if it was a sexual
that's-
orientation.
yes,
It's
it
in the
is.
fucking name, yes.
How? Okay, can you guys explain to me how it's a sexual orientation?
Because you're not happy with who you want to fuck or how you want to fuck.
No, transsexual isn't a sexual orientation.
Okay, thank you.
It is
because I was
based on
confused.
how you want to fuck or who you want to fuck, though, is it not?
No, being transsexual has nothing to do with sexual orientation.
So, so when you transition from being a man to a woman, that has nothing to do with how you want to have sex.
No.
Okay, really? How?
How?
You
Getting it?
Wait. Okay.
I'm not-
Okay. You know what?
Okay,
Maybe.
listen. No, okay, like if I were let's assume I cut my dick off and get a vagina. Which way do I want to get fucked? Like what are you talking about? Like
What are you talking about? We just
you're
clarified the
changing
definition.
your fucking parts in order to have sex in a different way. How is it not sexual?
No, it's not about having sex. So being transsexual is
Really? Then why do you need to change your parts?
Sex reassignment surgery.
Why do you need to change your parts?
To identify with either sex. Example, I'm going to use. I'll use somebody that I think you guys are familiar with, Nikki Starkiller. She's a transsexual.
Now you
she's a
can speak on this,
transsexual.
even though earlier you can't. But anyway, keep going.
What are you talking? Wait, hold on.
Earlier you're like, I can't speak on this because I'm
What
not
are you
actually
talking
transgender.
about?
But now you can actually speak on it. But keep going. Sorry.
Would anybody like to take this moment to virtue signal? I'd just like
I'm
to say
so
that I'm
confused, David. What the hell are you talking about?
Well, earlier you said I can't speak on this because I'm not actually transgender. But now you're like, oh, this part I can speak on. So let's hear it. I'm curious.
No. That wasn't a question. They're asking me about gender dysphoria. Chrissy, that was the conversation for 15, 20 minutes. I didn't say anything about being transsexual. I'm saying that I don't experience gender dysphoria. I cannot speak on it. Clarify that being transsexual is simply having sex reassignment surgery so you can identify with either sex. A transsexual woman.
Why do you
is
need to
literally
identify
being
with
I didn't agree to that at all. Are you kidding?
Never
I didn't
agreed
agree
with
to
that.
that.
Yeah, no.
That's probably why.
Where the fuck are you coming from?
I would like. Okay, you're telling me having.
Just because you lop something off or you add to it doesn't make it so.
I'm still so. Okay, so you believe that just simply having the sexual organs is a sexual orientation?
I believe that.
I'm not a troll. I speak facts, Kelly. Why don't you go
Mark, I
fucking
feel like you're
talk to me
trolling
about
right now.
your...
I've seen you debate, Mark. We've debated before, so I feel like you're really fucking with me right now. I really do. Anyways, go ahead, David.
I'm not talking about you. If we debated before, you probably lost. But at the end of the day, it's called common sense and critical thinking, that of which you do not have.
I've actually seen you debate on a genuine level, so I feel like you're really fucking with me. I really do.
I feel like.
Okay, let me ask you a question, Jake.
The fact that you're saying
Let me ask you a
changing
question.
sexual organs doesn't change your doesn't affect sexual orientation is fucked. Like there's literally organs called sex organs.
Right, the sex organs is because of the biological factor. So does a penis simply
Not
mean
biological, correct?
Is having a penis mean sexual orientation, or is that just the sexual organ or the sex organ?
You're using it to have sex, yes. It has
Sure,
to do with
that's
that.
where sexual orientation comes in. I can agree with you, but it's simply having a sexual orientation.
99%.
So let me ask you. So, Gigi, hold on. Let me ask this question, David. You came on and said it has many different. Well, I don't know, but you're not making any sense, because you said the appendage has multiple uses. If it has multiple uses, why are they transforming it then?
Maybe because that's not the. Maybe it's because they don't identify with that sex.
Right. Right.
Wait, Mark, I'm confused because if we're talking about
Why would you transform something when it works perfectly fine?
Well, if I could actually
If it has multiple uses.
if I could actually answer you, when we can understand that the brain sex and this
Hold
like
on,
having
Geek.
the biological sex, we can understand that those two unfortunately are incongruent to each other when we're talking about trans individuals. Correct.
Geek, are you a cis woman? Are you what you call a cis woman?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Have you ever dated a trans person before? A trans man?
No, but I would be open to either or. I said I would absolutely 100% be open.
Actions would speak louder than words, wouldn't they, Geek? Wouldn't they speak a lot louder?
Sure, but you asked me if I would be open to dating them. So what do you?
No, you just know I trapped you. That's why. You just know I trapped you in that.
Mark,
And you're like, now you're like, wait a minute.
Bro. I can't take
There's no way. You're a freaking liar. You're a liar. Geek.
You know why she's never dated
You're
a
a
trans
liar.
man? She's never dated a trans man.
I don't know how to feel about it, y'all. I really don't. I'm too autistic for this shit. What the fuck, Mark? What is this?
A trans man.
I know for a fact you would never date a trans man.
100%.
Oh, okay.
I've heard you in other
What is my
lives, there,
sexual
girl.
orientation, Mark? What is my sexual orientation?
It's not non-binary. It's not trans.
Wait, am I gonna
I
have to
just
change
asked
my
you your sexual
backboard?
orientation.
Non-binary.
What are you, bisexual? You're bisexual, right? Is that it? You're bisexual? Or are you a trisexual? You'll try anything once.
And I'm like, I really can't.
No, see, what you're doing is you're deflecting now. You're deflecting the conversation because you can't actually answer the questions I was asking you. So you're deflecting it, making it seem like I'm being satirical, and I'm not.
Hey, just laugh. That's what liberals do. Keep going. Just laugh.
Like, I'm not being satirical at all. You just can't answer it, and so therefore you're trying to switch it around and making it sound like I'm being satirical, and I'm not. You know damn well you wouldn't date a trans. The majority of these people that stand up, hold on, the majority of people that stand up for trans rights have never dated a trans at all. But they'll stand up for their rights, but you know what? They're hypocrites. They're fucking hypocrites.
Wait, do you
Because they'll sit there and they'll advocate that they're human beings. Hold on. They'll sit there and advocate that they're human beings, which I would never deny them. They are human beings. But, you know, but they would never partake in so-called the devil's fruit.
Do you have
And
to,
we all know that.
Do you have to fall into sexual intercourse for somebody to stand up for them?
No, I'm saying, have you ever dated or even attempted to do anything with a trans
Did I
person?
answer
You
that?
said
What
no.
did I say, Mark?
You
I
said
answered
no.
What
Yeah,
else did
you
I
said
say?
no, but you said, but I'd be open to it. But you know what? That's what everyone says, because they know that if they say no, I wouldn't date a trans person, then you, ma'am, would be considered a bigot. And you don't want to be called a bigot
would I
now,
be
would you?
considered a bigot
Because
when I
I would
said-
never date a trans woman, ever. And I get called bigot all the time.
That's fine, Mark. I personally already said that I'm 100% open to dating a trans individual because I'm bisexual. I don't care about any of that. If I find you attractive, I find you attractive.
Bisexuals don't actually date trans people. You have to be pansexual for that.
I think it's the same difference.
There you go. You've never found
No, pansexual is more virtuous.
I mean, I guess so. When people have been fighting back and forth with that within the community for well over 7 years, but I would still say that I would consider myself to be bisexual. You could say pansexual, sure. Like I said, I'm still open to dating trans individuals. Period. I don't care.
Fair enough, then you're pansexual.
That's fine. I guess I'm pansexual.
Wait, do you believe in non-binary then, geek?
Yeah, 100%.
Wait,
Well, then how can you be
how many
bisexual?
sexual
Bisexual
orientations
means
are there,
two.
How many sexual orientations are there, though?
That's a good question.
Hold on. I wanted to answer the question. How can you possibly say I'm bisexual when that means only two? There's two sexes, and yet you believe in the non-binary system.
There's literally just straight and gay. That's
Queer,
sexual
queer,
orientation.
asexual, what else is there? Pansexual. I'm sorry, transplanter said that. Pansexual, and I guess there's others. There's others that could fall into the other categories, but those are the few that I know of. I'm sorry, Mark. I was answering.
Right.
I was answering the host question. What were you asking me, Mark?
Well, I asked you. You said you're bisexual, and bi means two, so that means two sexes. So you're attracted to both sexes, but you also believe in a non-binary system, which doesn't believe in any sexes. How can that be true?
I can still be quote unquote.
I told her to say pansexual. She would not.
Mm-hmm.
Well, technically, I can agree with you. I just think that it's still pretty much the same thing. I think being bisexual, you could be still attracted to either or, but I can still also believe that non-binary people exist. Period. So I'm not
Well,
sure.
how can a non-binary people exist if there's only two sexes? You're literally just showing that it's hypocritical to say those two words in the same sentence.
Wait, non-binary
You
has something
can't.
to do with sex. Non-binary has something to do with gender. So what are you speaking
Being,
about?
if you're bisexual,
They're not
you said you're bisexual. You said you're a bisexual, which means you believe in two sexes, which
Right.
means you are attracted to both sexes. But then you said in the same breath that I also believe that there's non-binary. How the fuck is that possible?
It's like
Okay,
bicycle.
so you guys do know that non-binary has nothing to do with necessarily sexual orientation. It's just gender neutrality.
Yeah, there's a disconnect between the genitals and the brain in your version of what gender means. We get it.
I didn't say anything about genitals.
No, I'm just describing what gender used to be synonymous with sex, and then it got hijacked, and you guys now make it. It's whatever you imagine. Don't even think about what your crotch looks like. What do you imagine yourself to be? That's gender.
So that would be
I'm not
Barbie
sure
and Ken. That's what they imagine it to look like. Their sex slender.
I already agreed that gender identity and gender itself is still synonymous to biology. So I'm not sure what my argument is.
Love it. I think I like you, geek. I think me and you are going to get along just fine.
Okay. Either way, I still don't believe being transsexual is a sexual orientation. I feel like you guys are fucking with me on that, so I'm just gonna go ahead and ease my way out because I don't think it's going
We're not
anywhere
fucking with
else.
you on that. No, we want to talk more about it. Please, come on.
He's a runner.
What do you-
She's a flyer.
What more do you want to
I mean,
add
I
to that?
get it.
I don't think you were able to give me an answer how it's a sexual orientation.
Because it's based on your sex.
So you believe that sexual orientations is based off of biology?
I believe that.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, 99% of it. Yeah.
Can you explain to me how that's the case?
When you're born with a penis, you generally crave vaginas after puberty.
I agree.
How was how was that craving
okay.
a vagina is a sexual orientation, but how is having a penis a sexual orientation?
It's pretty much hardwired over millions of years of us having parents that were of the opposite sex. Somewhere along the way, that became the norm, and then communists came in and disrupted children's thinking before puberty and convinced them that they can imagine themselves to be whatever they want, and that maybe you should experiment. Maybe you should try cock if you've got a cock.
Why are you saying it like that? That's okay.
Because that's how transgender teachers say it.
That's
I'm
actually
not
what
talking.
it is.
That's trans.
So
that's
I
trans-
no,
I'm not
he's talking
talking.
facts, though.
having a penis. How is
He's talking
simply having
facts.
a penis? How is simply having a penis or a vagina, to be blunt, a sexual orientation?
Because it's your magnetic south, and it generally points to the other side of the genital binary.
And like, yo, like, no, but for real though, and it, like just to jump in here, I'll just say this: like, if it wasn't that big of a deal, they wouldn't push the message. They just let it happen naturally. Period.
What message?
Yep.
Are you scared because a bunch of gay people are on media?
No,
No, we're depressed. We're depressed that kids are learning about sex pre-puberty in an effort to effeminize everyone, and it's ruining Earth, and 1 in 5 kids now declares that they are not the gender they were born as. So we've reached a crisis point, and your fantasy is destroying Fantasia, so we need you to wake up from your dream, because it's killing everyone.
Fantasia within
Can I
this
just
society.
say, like,
Oh, we've been living in it this whole time. We're still in it. Every day we talk about transgender. You think we want this?
In a Fantasia, can y'all clarify?
what?
It's simple. It's simple. When a minority group gets to say, "Hey, well, if you don't say this, you're a hater. Hey, if you don't use these terms, you're a hater. If you don't use these terms, you're a hater. You're transphobia. You're trans this. Like, come on, bro. A small group
Once
is
again,
dictating.
you're upset because you
Hold on, no, nobody. Listen, nobody's upset. It's a fact that how is a small group
Are you sure?
able to move a mass of people just from the small rhetoric of the
Shut the
words?
fuck up and let me talk.
That makes no sense. And seriously, it's actually very uncomfortable. Like I work in the professional field of CFS, and they say, they talk to my wife and a couple other people, like the other workers, like, yo, say this. But the workers are even like, but look at now you're forcing us to speak a way that we don't even believe in. It's spelling dictatorship, and guess where it's coming from? It's coming from the top, which is a governmental agency that's pushing it on the education agency, therefore allowing the people that believe in this to have a push through to the kids. That's whack.
Do you think
That's actually that's not even cool. If you
Yeah, it's hurting kids. Not you, geek, but the whole ideology. Can you just hug me and say I'm a lady? And then you say, oh my God, of course you're a lady. But you don't think about medium and long-term morality, where this stuff will infect the children, and it's gender dysphoria, and you've just normalized it in one case, but you fed the ducks, and now the ducks have forgotten how to hunt on their own, and they'll just keep coming back, and soon the ducks will fucking eat you.
So do you guys, are you guys
I'll tell you this way, and I speak about this adamantly because
civil rights era?
like straight up, I literally have 6 kids, right? And my oldest is 7. My oldest is 17, and so I'm watching literally. What's that word I'm looking for? Androgynous. These kids are androgynous, as in they can be swayed either way. But since I didn't sway my children, they naturally went to the direction of women. Naturally, I didn't give them an idea.
There's a reason why they go to the kids is because kids again are androgynous, and that's very true. But they won't have this conversation with an adult. They won't have this conversation with adults.
Wait, do y'all know what androgynous is? What it means?
Hold on. Let's give Climate chances.
Yes, it's ambiguity and gender.
Yeah, it means that they can look either way, not be swayed either way. Like they
Yeah.
Annie Lennox.
Okay, but
people that
I'm
are
sorry, but
looking
at the end of the day, if you're having this conversation that it can happen, you're kind of, what are you doing? Indoctrinating them? Is that the word you'd rather us use?
oh,
Clam, what do you got?
Indoctrinating the kid to believe that's how biology works. That if you
Well,
think of it really hard,
this
it'll
is
happen.
hilarious.
That's pretty much what they're doing, indoctrinating the kids with an ideal to say, hey, if you have these feelings, this may be you. They've literally given a diagnosis, but nobody's a psychologist, but they're allowing this.
Yeah,
Just like the government allows BS, just like they allow
Clam a chance to speak up
chemicals
at
in
the
the
top
food.
there.
Yeah, go
Let's
ahead.
give Clam a chance to speak. And yeah, Geek is awesome. She's a wonderful young woman. Clam, what do you got
I'm
for
just listening to you guys. You're good. I agree with what you're saying, bro. Honestly, I think they should keep that shit out of schools because it's fucking confusing children, and I don't think it's right.
Let me ask you an honest question then, since there's a minute here of a pause. Do you think children should be able to buy alcohol?
Fuck no,
Okay, why not?
because they're children.
Okay,
They shouldn't
so
be
why?
drinking,
Okay,
period.
now, now we're just talking about alcohol. We're talking about getting drunk for a fucking night. Like, why is it okay for them to make a decision that fucks up their entire lives? Like, I don't understand the logic here. Like let children vote, buy cigarettes, fucking drink, but you're like, oh, you want to get your dick cut off? Fuck yeah, I support that.
So I would like to clarify when we're talking about SRS, sex reassignment surgery, typically at least 95% that does not happen to minors unless it's illegal.
Oh, okay, so
and I
5%
would
is
definitely
fine.
agree with you that if it's illegal, then obviously I personally hold the belief that you have to be at least 18 years or older to even
What
get
about hormone
SRS.
blockers?
I'm sorry?
Hormone blockers.
Hormone blockers are usually given between the ages of 16 and 18, but that's also typical to be adult age.
What about testosterone to 12-year-olds? I mean, they do that. They 100%.
What are you talking about? They're doing hormone blockers.
If they're doing that, then I would, like I said before, I
puberty.
already made this argument before. I feel like if we're speaking about testosterone being given to minors under the age of specifically 17, especially to a 12-year-old, I wouldn't be okay with that.
Don't you think it's wrong, though, just generally for like 18-year-olds to think they're going to be something they could never possibly be? And the majority of the people that want sex reassignment surgery are transient lifestyles who regularly go through phases of this month I'm goth, this month I'm this, and they have identity crisis every second week when they're 18, and you want to give them something so final that puts them into a category of suicide consideration of 80% of trans are considering suicide. The reason we're here, the reason we talk about this every fucking day is instead of treating gender dysphoria, we say, oh, maybe we can lower the suicide rates if more people are aware of the transgender lifestyle. That's evil and that's sickening to misdiagnose it in that way. The problem is you've elected everyone in society to be members of their fantasy, and we will be held to account, and we will be the ones who suffer penalties if we don't partake in their fantasy and their play. That's evil and sickening, and it can't ever last. So at some point we got to be tough. We got to have tough conversations and not try and be short-term moralists who are like, I just want everyone to feel good. When they tell me they want me to be, so they want to be something, I want to agree with them. No, the tough conversation is you can't be the other gender that you were born at, that you weren't born as. Let's accept who we are. If you're gay, that's fine. But cutting off your dick and having a doctor do it, these people are psycho-Satanists.
Okay, that was a lot.
Yeah,
I would still say, like I said earlier, and a lot of you guys weren't here, so it's okay. I'm perfectly fine with repeating myself when we're talking about how we deal with trans individuals being transgender, being transsexual. I would still say that I think that it's very important to look up the research and see what's best for that individual and what kind of help they need. So when we're speaking about whether we believe that it's delusional, whether we don't understand it, it doesn't matter if we don't understand. I think it's very important.
Oh my God! Like, I don't understand.
We understand, they don't understand.
Okay, so this is the biggest thing. You're talking about what's best for an individual. This opens up a can of worms because you're talking about what's best, okay? No, I have to interrupt you. Why? Because what's best is for you to know the history of this global elite. And you need to know the history of the medical industry, you know the history of cancer, you need to know the history of chemicals in the food. So what are you talking about?
Master Blaster, I like your name, Master Blaster. I like your style, but I want to give Greek here a very long leash to go wherever she wants because she's like the 1 versus 8. So let's just let her talk as much as she wants, and then when she's done, Master Blaster's up.
Oh yeah. Now
Okay, Richie Vroom.
Yeah. Listen, Geek is a highly valued guest up here. She's very well spoken. She's a wonderful young woman. So let's not don't pile on. She's the only one up here, right? So go ahead, Geek.
No, I just wanted to reiterate what I was saying, what I said earlier multiple times by now. I cannot speak on whether I think it's an illusion, whether I think it's not real, and whether I believe that we're not handling it correct. I think it's really important for us to continue to do research and go based off the research that we have, and whether that is to help them affirm what they are, when it comes down to being a trans individual, then
You want
sure.
them to be the
Whether
research,
that
right?
is, please stop interrupting me.
Sorry, but you want them to be the research.
So please stop interrupting.
I'll stop now.
So when we're talking about research and us not being trans individuals, us not living in their brains, us not understanding exactly what goes into gender dysphoria, because a lot of us typically do not experience it, I would say it's very, very important to listen to trans individuals, whether I agree with them or not. I think it's very important to listen to all different types of trans individuals.
We've been listening to them for years and years and years now. It's really, I don't know when we're going to be done with this conversation or if it ever finishes.
Well, we probably will never be finished with this conversation because a lot of people completely deny them within their identity. A lot of people completely say that they're not really trans. A lot of people, and this is something that we've been dealing with since the 50s, the 40s. So unfortunately, if people are still continuously unwilling to do research and live in willful ignorance or just be completely obtuse.
Oh, we looked at the research. The research from the 50s and 60s started out with John Money in one case, and the case was a kid who had his penis melted early and disfigured penis, and they changed him into a girl, and they never told him about it, and then he found out later that he was a girl, and it was all based on this one case of John Money got the whole thing started, and the person killed themselves in later life. So it was a one-case failure.
His twin brother actually killed himself too.
I'm not monologuing.
Let me ask you a question. Hold on, Jake, let me ask you a question. You said that we have to listen.
No, Mark, please. I am begging y'all. I have a lot.
No, I just have a question for you because you've been going on for a bit and I've been showing you respect. I just like to ask a question.
One point, so Master can respond to me.
Okay, well, I'll make a statement. I mean, you said we're supposed to look after the trans community and those people that are calling it out. Is like Dylan Mulvaney, whatever. Is that one of the people you're talking about that switches whatever he fucking decides to be every month? Like today he's a female, next day he's gay, the following day he's a lesbian, after that he's this, he's that.
Hey, look,
Are those the kind of people that we're supposed to be listening to? The ones that can just change on a whim?
I'm not very familiar with trans individuals, but if you guys allow for me to finish what I was saying, trans individuals are not a monolith. So I think it's very important to listen to a lot of them. A lot of them have different.
They're certainly not a monolith. They're everything. You could be a guy in a beard wearing a dress with no surgery at all, or you could be full surgery. It's the biggest umbrella tent ever.
You should look up Dylan Mulvaney on Place is Right when he was still just gay and not a chick. And he's fucking the most fucking ridiculous shit I've
It was cringy, yeah.
It was bad.
Yeah, that's pretty much par for the course. Once you're an anti-colonizing feminist, you're probably completely unbearable to deal with.
He's like, I'll spread my legs for you, but
like
I won't
most
fucking...
men
Yeah, I would say that she
unbearable to deal
deems
with.
her husband dead, but in all reality he probably left her.
Funny that a lot of you guys are just spewing this nonsense and thinking that the LGBTQ+ community is indoctrinating children when really we've been living in a heteronormative world for centuries, especially during colonization.
Yeah, that's because hetero is normal. All of your parents were hetero. That's why you're here, you spoiled, decadent narcissist.
I'm not a narcissist, thank you very much.
How do you think you came to be, though?
Oh, you're a narcissist, my dear.
Hold on, no, my dad's a colonizer because
The drag queens came in and read stories to us. Yeah,
This is
I know, I
the big
remember that,
problem, eh?
John.
Like, yo, listen, this is the big problem. Look at, we as men are the leaders, and you women want to come over and try to take force, but when you need help, you're going to go to a man. When you need surgery, you're going to go to a man. When you need protection, you're going to go to a man, because technically, who would protect who better? You would protect me, or I would protect you. Well, we already know what that is. But then now, since the government is trying to divide people, you have talking points that are illogical because you have a voice you want to rant and rave. But it's illogical. But then when the time comes, you're going to need our protection. But we don't want to protect against the things that you guys want protection against.
These are great points.
The only reason you have comfort, only reason you have comfort is because men use their blood, sweat, and tears to build this country up.
No,
and so therefore, men's blood, sweat, and tears would protect against the global elite.
It was based off of.
And I love everyone but people that are in my country, unless they're not cis-normative,
I'm in a country where I'm a target. And
no, you're not. You're a narcissist. You think everyone thinks about you.
I love you. I told you I love you lately.
12%
I love you too, buddy.
on a higher
No homo.
being murdered and missing. And if you don't believe me, there are 2 women's remains in a landfill right now that aren't even being searched. It's been a year. It's been over
I'm a victim.
and they have
Give me virtue.
Okay,
I'm a victim.
Everything spawns back to our initial choices based on
all sound like children up here because I have children and they know how to speak better to each other. Your name calling.
Shut your mouth. Leave Earth. Throw your Twitter device. Throw your TikTok device in a fast-moving river and never log on again. No one likes you. No one likes you. You don't bring value to a TikTok by scorning everyone. Everyone here thinks you should leave, but you won't. You're gonna keep acting like you make this place better.
You're calling it black. Why would you call the kettle black?
Because I hate these tone police. They're absolute conducted narcissists. I need to monitor every aspect of this. People like a little friction. You get no light without a bit of heat.
And like straight up, I'll be honest. Like, if you would let the men like handle the rules without the women stepping in, we'd have a safer society. I promise.
No,
you.
actually, it was a lot safer before.
No. We would have a safer society because us functional men would deal with the dysfunctional men the way we see fit, and we wouldn't have women stepping in acting like, oh, everything's not good for us. Look, fine. You want to work out? You want to freaking go work a job? Go ahead, do your thing. You want to get your women's rights? Cool. But the feminism thing is going too far. Toward the flow of this of the flow of equilibrium. And so now we're here, and like, yo, you have your tongue, yes, you have your mind, I get it. But guess what? It's destructive. It's very destructive. And you know, it's so. I'll tell you how destructive it is. When it comes times to have to pick up arms, y'all ain't doing that. Y'all are gonna sit back.
Really? Pick up.
Yeah, you're building a world laden with destruction.
Listen, you're telling that to a retired military veteran here?
Yeah, you're still thinking like a lady, though.
Picking up arms, man.
No, Cherry Cola is not.
I'd probably be able to pick up arms and actually do jobs efficiently, and you know.
Okay, so ma'am, that's a retired veteran. Who's around you to make sure that you are good in majority? In majority, what was your field team created of? Men. It's not a bunch of women. They don't put a bunch of women as field directors.
It doesn't matter. We treated each other.
Yeah, it does. It does because who has your back?
Brothers and sisters. It didn't matter if they were men or women.
Who has your back? And so now, if we're in the field together and I need you to pick me up and carry me, you ain't gonna be able to do it.
You don't know that.
Oh, we know that. We absolutely know that. You're in dream world.
Men and women are built equal. Do you guys think men and women are built equal?
Men might have upper body strength, but women's lower body strength is equivalent to a men's.
No, or else they'd be winning. They'd be running faster 100 meters. They'd be running faster 200, 400, 1500. It's just not true.
Do you believe that fucking there should be men's and women's sports, or should we all compete together?
No, we could all compete together by their definition.
This one's for the women. This one's for the women. Should men and women compete in sports? Should men and women compete in sports?
I used to.
There we go. Narcissism. Yes. There we go. Narcissism.
More better than most of the men.
Do you think you?
Okay, Swan, we're not talking about plenty of fish sporting. We're talking about real sports.
I'm talking about real sports. I grew up going to a private school.
Okay, but if you guys are equal to men, then why the fuck aren't you in the NBA or the NHL or fucking NFL or whatever?
Because of the misogynistic.
Oh, that is so. You're gone. You're mentally not there.
No, trust me, I got this. Do you honestly think it's because maybe you aren't good enough to make the team?
No, it's patriarchy at its finest.
So
seriously.
Which sport were you playing?
That's why men make more than women.
Do you know why men make more than women? Because men watch men's sports. Women don't watch women's sports. If women watch women's sports, you guys can make just as much money.
A whole bunch of men running around, making millions of dollars while you're wasting your time and energy.
They are watching because it's more entertaining. Women suck at sports compared to men. No offense, but it's fucking true. I'm not trying to be misogynistic here, but motherfucker, you put any woman against any men in the top of the division, a man will kick their ass.
There's a reason that one of the top runners, which is like one of the top female runners, can be outrun by boys that are in the high school leagues.
Thank you. The voice of sanity. A woman who is sane is in here, and Clam as well is sane.
No, Cherry is very sane too, you guys. She's down to earth.
Who was the one that was lecturing us? I disagree. Who was the one lecturing us on the order of the live, of like how live should be run? Was that Cherry?
Cherry asking one person at a time. Yes.
I was asking one person at a time.
Yeah, that's not going to fly.
Because I'm Richie's mod, and he also considers me a co-host sometimes. So yes, I do what he tells me to do. Thank you.
Well, as long as you're doing what a man's telling you to do, we can find common ground.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Wow, because men are right.
I just think that women that believe that men and women can compete at the same level are just ignorant to the fact that there are biological advantages that always take place when it comes to a man's body. The bone density is always going to be different. The wingspan are going to be different. Everything about a man biologically, they are going to outcompete you. So if you had a woman that had trained for years and years in boxing, and you took a man that's just like a normal type, right? And they train for 2 months, they will be able to knock that woman the fuck out. Let's just be real.
Realism. That's some realism entering here. Well, now, here we go. Swan's going to give us the most weird anecdote ever about the world's tallest woman actually disproves this.
Okay, hold on a sec, transplanter. Let me just. I want to say one thing real quick. When is enough going to be enough for you, Swan? Like, when are you going to say, okay, I concede, you're right? Like, I mean, seriously, you have men that are in women's sports in the women's division that are breaking fucking records. One
Yeah,
man's
but there's
breaking
also a
records
woman
every
that
time he
broke that record
swims.
too against
No,
a trans
hold on. Okay,
woman.
okay, but hold on. But when are you going to concede? Like, I mean, you even had tennis players, for Christ's sakes. It's not even that. It's a physical sport, but it has nothing to do with upper strength. It has more to do with the lower strength, which you said women have. The top 500 male guy, like he was in the top 500, like on the last part, beat Serena Williams, like she was doing nothing. Like, when are you going to concede?
She lost 6-1 and 6-0, and even Serena Williams.
When will you concede to this and say, you know what, you're right?
Or let's talk about the male swimmer that was 400th in his rank in male sports, but as soon as he became female, he was number one.
Yeah.
Right, but we cannot blame that person. We have to blame the NCAA who allowed that person to participate.
100%.
Absolutely, but it's the fact that they allowed a man to participate just because of his feelings.
We listen. The thing is, we can blame actually that man. We can blame the NC, the place that you said, but also we can also blame you ladies that are taking up for this transgender bullshit because you're backing it.
Not transgender bullshit.
Transgender bullshit.
Being in sports is bullshit.
But instead, we're taking up for men that are all up in their feelings because they want to be number one, but they can't be number one in their own rank.
I like Unicorn. She's a good
like
bitch.
for real, like for real. I'll tell you now. For you women that forgot the place that you're supposed to be in, and that doesn't mean we can. And that doesn't mean to return.
Misogynistic.
No, that doesn't. It's not misogynistic. I'll explain here. I'll get someone else to say it better for you guys.
Well,
Do you not know that there were women chiefs and women leaders before, like, the patriarchy happened and colonization? You do realize that, right?
God, fuck
Let's just be real because
get over
let's just be real though, because
you
there's
guys
a diamond in the rough.
queen, right? The matriarch, right?
Oh, the matriarch. Let's hear more about that.
Right,
Please,
right,
please
right?
define that.
You're led by a queen, right?
Yeah, how'd that go?
Hold on,
No, not the reptilian queen.
No.
God,
Did you realize that the royal family today doesn't really have much rule? They're just
the royal
there
family
as
is a bunch of inbred pieces of shit. Who cares?
Well, the royal family, regardless, is just there to kind of be like a centerpiece for the country, while Parliament is the one that makes the rules.
If she had a brother, at the time, she wouldn't have became queen. You have to understand this thing. Not just we were ruled by a queen. Like, come on, please make sense of what you're saying.
Yeah, but she's not even from England either.
It doesn't matter, it doesn't matter. I'm telling you, we got a small group of people that are testing on us, and the women are allowing things to come in that men wouldn't allow to come in based on this thing called feminism. And now since you're retaining your voices, that's a wonderful thing, but in a dysfunctional way now, and it's going to harm the populace. And seriously, it's like, hold on 2 seconds, man. And I'll be honest, man. It's the same thing as the percentile of when single women are raising children. 70% of these children end up going through the jail system, pipeline prison. But when a single man is raising his children, that percentage has dropped. No, I don't. Yeah, no. That's
because of the Democratic Party. They don't like the nuclear family. That's why.
But I didn't say this wasn't about the nuclear family, ma'am.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
If you listen to my example, if you look at my example, it was a male raising his children versus a woman raising the children. It wasn't about both of them. Because if we put both parents in the household, it ranges all the way to what the single male is doing. That's how it's compared.
Okay, so you're misogynistic playboy that every single man likes to listen to. Andrew Tate.
I will say that there are
raised by a single woman.
I will say that there are advantages and disadvantages when it comes to a single parent household regardless. A parent with male and female is much better. But statistically speaking, men are able to raise like single parent households a lot better than women are. Productive members of society than a single mother household.
That's because you need discipline in a fucking household.
It's really because both me and my brother were raised by a single mother, and we turned out fantastic.
Can we ask why those women are single? Can we ask why they're single?
We're talking about majority.
Yeah, the majority.
We're not talking about majority. We are talking about statistics. So statistically, men are able to raise more productive members of society.
Right. Are we going to talk about that too?
What are we talking about?
Women are leading abusive relationships now.
Well, actually, if you actually look at statistics, women are more likely to be the abusive ones in relationship when it comes to children.
100%.
when we're talking about in a relationship with a man and a woman, statistically, men
That's
are more
because men don't
most likely
report it.
Right. Well, I mean, like,
Men
No,
don't
I do
report
believe
it.
that there are women
yeah, men
abusers.
don't
I'm not
report.
going to
Men
discount
don't
that.
report.
Men
Yeah.
don't
But what
talk
I
about
will
the fact
say,
that women are abusive to them because they're fucking men. They don't talk about their feelings. They bury it down deep inside and blow up one day.
yeah, but
If
men
they
are
sat there and
mentally,
got picked to a
emotionally,
point that
and
they do,
physically
shut the
abusive
fuck up.
and financially abusive. Sorry, I'm not going to shut up to a man.
No, that's because you know
Okay,
why?
so
Because that's why you're a single fucking mom.
yo,
No,
hold
because
up.
I
Now
don't
check this
Whoa,
out.
tolerate
wait a
men's
minute, wait a minute now.
No,
I don't believe in going for the cutthroat here. Okay, I'm a
Sorry, I
single
didn't
mother
mean to, but
myself,
she's like,
but
I'm not
some
going to
people,
shut up to a man.
wait, you do mean to. Wait. You do mean to. You meant
I
that
never said
as
I
a
didn't
dig
mean
on
to.
her? Wait,
This
just
misogyny is
stop for a
showing.
second, I'm a single mother myself, but just because I base my stuff off of logic and statistics versus emotions, it doesn't necessarily mean that single mothers are like these horrible people, and that's what it ends up with making them single mothers. Sometimes there's different circumstances. So I don't think that that's a real dig that you could use to make somebody look bad. All right? Let's just
David,
get
you
real on
crossed the
that.
line there. Let's not
well,
take it too personal and don't get
I
too
don't think.
and don't
Okay,
get
so
and
I'm
listen.
gonna say this, man.
Hold on. This is the host. Don't get too personal and don't get too derogatory, please. If you do, you get knocked down to the comments. It's called
Yeah,
toddler timeout down
yeah,
there, and then you can
yeah,
just
for
come
sure.
back up after you have a breather. Thanks.
Can
Yeah,
I just say
that's cool.
something, guys?
So like
David?
this is what's crazy. This is crazy because like it's either not mom not doing it and dad's not there, or dad's not doing it and mom's not doing it. Whatever the structure of the household is. But if like I understand people grow, but like if ladies would like slow down, like forget what men want when it comes to getting with a woman and having intimacy. If y'all would hold yourselves, find a partner, get married, so that you're in a proper position, we could lessen this single mother household because no man
Well,
can
I
take
That's
think
a
anything
crock
that.
from.
of shit because people
Wait,
do die
Master,
for no
real quick.
reason.
Wait,
And
that's
you can't just
One second,
blame
real
it
quick.
It's
on
a
men.
crock of shit for you to
yeah,
control
that's
yourself.
all proper
Okay,
shit.
so
Why
Wait,
don't you hold
why?
men?
okay,
I'm
so you know why it's
saying
not a crock of
is
shit because it
Why don't you
because
settle
hold
down with
men?
a decent man, and then you can provide and get provided with by a man, and yada yada yada. My first son's father was a Freemason, okay, and yes, he was well versed, well educated, and to be completely honest, he passed away from 2 types of lymphoma and died with leukemia. And now I'm a single mother of his oldest son, or his only son. But yet you're saying that women are just choosing to be single?
I didn't say they're choosing to be single. I said if you
You're
move
saying life events don't
in a
happen?
proper position.
Why
Okay,
don't
so
men? Why
I'll
don't
give
you
a
hold men?
comparison
Why
then.
can't you
Okay,
tell men to keep it in their pants?
yeah, why? Because
Right,
men aren't
Rocky?
going. No, hold up. You see
Yeah, hold
that?
up.
You're saying tell men to keep it in their pants. Why?
Yes.
Men
They
should
can't.
actually be on
Keep
prison
your
No, no,
for
legs
no,
more
no,
than
no, no, no,
30
no,
days.
no, no.
Fucking
Listen.
legs closed.
Okay, so listen. Why would
We
I
don't have
listen?
to keep it in our pants.
If you're telling a man to keep it in his pants, right? Well,
Men
listen,
should be on
a
birth
man.
control,
Hold up,
period.
man. A man doesn't have access to the punani unless she allows it.
Yeah, and I'm
So,
and
so
I'm
you
sure
can. So guess what?
you haven't
It
asked
can't. It
for it,
can't. It
right?
can't. It can't. So technically, it can't come out their
You haven't
pants
asked
unless.
for it, right?
Hold on, unless it can't come out their
You know how
pants
to
unless
abstain?
it can't come out their pants unless she allows it.
No,
Or
but
there's
yeah, but you're
drug
asking
burn,
for
then
it.
there's child trauma and abuse and stuff like that, you know.
It's still.
Men
I
go through it
get.
You
too.
are
I
men
get
Men
all
go
that,
through
but
it
the
too.
fact is,
You can't deny
no.
that.
The fact
You
is, the
We're not
equation,
talking
abuser.
about that.
the denominator is
Men
pretty
are the
We're
simple.
talking about the zero
oppressors.
accountability of women.
Who are you holding? I want to know
Yeah, but you're talking about a zero accountability of men, right?
No,
No,
I'm talking
no.
about the zero
who
accountability of women. It's always men's
who are you
fault. Everything is
protecting
men's
us
fault.
from? Who are you
We're
protecting us
protecting you
from?
from everybody else. There's
Men,
a reason
right?
we don't want you going into
Yeah,
the
no, you're
fucking club by
protecting us from
yourself.
men and men's bad
I go to clubs by
behavior.
myself.
Yeah,
If you
your
would
men are
teach the
protecting you
men
from
not
other
to have bad behavior, then the women would not need protection.
men because you guys are
Exactly.
like, you, I'll go where I want, and
Start
that's
with
why
the
we dump your
men.
ass.
This all starts with the men, not the
So
women.
what
Men
about the
are
abusive
zero
men? Hold on a minute.
accountability.
Let
No,
Zappy
it should be
speak,
protection,
please.
but you fucking do.
Let Zappy speak, please.
Yeah,
I'm
against
talking
other
about your
men,
fucking actual boyfriends, your
other
actual
men,
husbands,
right?
your guys that
Men
actually
need to be
fucking
held
shut the fuck up for
accountable.
a second.
Cis men.
Yeah, we're protecting
You
you
know
from
what's
other men,
crazy?
100 fucking percent. But you
Okay,
guys
so
don't
Start with
listen
And
to the
that's
men in
why I
men.
your
don't
fucking
let my
lives. You
sons
will
into
fucking
a
geek
men's
out
Start
and
with
go to the
relationship.
men.
club anyway.
What's
okay,
the
so
matter, David? Are you
so are you
tripping?
saying?
I
Okay, so I
can't
have a
understand
question.
a word
You
anybody's
an
saying. There's
abuser?
four
Is
people
that what you
talking at
said?
once, and I do not understand what anybody is saying when four people are talking at once. Please try to listen
That's
to Cherry.
because the
She's
women
doing a
can't wait for
wonderful
men to
job. I
talk.
think she wanted Zappy to talk.
Yes, go ahead, Zappy.
Okay, so I understand what you're saying. Who is the guy speaking about the women choosing the right thing or whatever? Was that you, David?
I was a little bit
Yeah.
on board with that. Yeah, I'm saying it's not 100% accountability on men of when women get pregnant. I would say it's more accountability on the woman because you choose who you fuck. Other than the fact of that, say,
Wait,
oh, see, no, laugh, yeah, laugh.
no,
Did you
I
not
want
choose
to
who you
address the
fucked?
person who was saying the thing things about why men dump women. Who was that?
That was David. That was all David.
Maybe. No, we got women that talk
David,
over
let
us
me
and don't
ask you-
respect our opinion. 100%, yes.
Right now, you're talking over me.
No, sir, you asked who it was, so I said what I said. Okay, now it's your turn. Yes, I will wait.
Thank you. That would be nice. So I have a question for you. I did things the right way. I dated my husband, my first husband. We waited to have children until after we were married. And he ended up addicted to drugs and left me. Now, is that my fault?
No, your
but
story's
you
all
dated a loser,
clear.
so I mean, a
You
little
did
bit, yes.
what you did.
You dated a fucking
Okay.
loser.
Oh,
so
I'm surprised the men aren't saying you should have picked better.
Yeah, I know, right? That's what I was expecting.
Seriously.
No,
Here's the
no,
thing.
no,
Here's the
man.
thing. Let me finish my point.
Hold on.
Shut up just a damn minute and let me finish my point, please.
Well, you.
Hold on.
I'd be on drugs too.
My point is that you're judging a lot of women when you don't take into consideration that there are many other factors and things that happen. And for you to say that it's women's fault for men dumping them, that's terrible.
No, what I'm saying
So
is,
You
when
can't
talk
look
about
at the whole
hold on, let me
situation.
answer the
There's
question.
so many things.
No, I would like to respond to her.
There's
I'd like
so
to
many
respond to her.
things
So
that goes
the man
into
had to leave
this.
himself. Why would you stay with a man that was on drugs? Why did he have to leave? Why didn't you?
Who's that? I don't know.
That
who's
got your
talking.
tongue?
Why
More
would
free.
she have to leave that she has a child?
No, but then why didn't she take herself and the child and leave this man that was doing drugs? Why did you wait for him to leave you?
You have the capability at the time.
I'll tell you why. Let me tell you why. Okay. So my mother and my stepfather are devout Christians, and they believe that once you get married, you don't leave that person. And that's the only people I had to go to, and they refused to let me go. My ex-husband caused me to lose my job.
Hold
Hold on.
putting the blame on other people.
Hold on. There's more to the story.
everybody else's fault but yours. Yes, okay, keep going.
No, it's
Yeah,
called
so far I'm hearing
colonization.
it. You're telling us it's
Everybody's
everybody else
fault
but
but
you.
mine. So
100%
I have
Yeah.
no father to lean on. My mother wouldn't let me come there. I have nobody else. I lost my job because of my drug addicted husband, and I was doing what I had to do.
So you
I
must
had
have
to
been
fight,
on
and I had
drugs
to
for a
claw
while
my
then.
way to get me and my children away from that man.
Okay,
You
so it
can't
sounds
just
to
judge
me
every
that you again,
situation.
it sounds to me
You
that you
can't
were still
judge
sitting
every
there and you were
situation and say it's all the same because it's not. It's not all the same.
no, but
There are many
taking
different
responsibility for your
circumstances.
actions is taking responsibility for who you are is.
But
Then where are the
I
men
did take
with the
responsibility
Okay,
for me.
hold on.
Did
In
you
your
not
story,
hear me say that I clawed and fought my way to get away from that man?
that's what you just said.
So
But
why did he
earlier
leave
you
you
said
then?
he left you. So which one?
Yeah.
Did he leave you or did you crawl and fight to get away?
Exactly.
He left
Okay.
for
That's
another
very
woman
different
and
thing.
tried to come back.
You were
I
going to stick it
refused
out with
to
a
let
junkie
him
with your
and
kids.
fought and clawed my way to provide a life for me and my children.
So you were trying to stick it out with a junkie with your kids, and he left you. So he actually had more maturity than you did. So yeah,
That is not what the fuck I said. And if you would shut your mouth for a fucking minute and you want to jump on me because I'm a woman and accuse me of staying with a druggie for my children, which I did not. You don't fucking know me. You don't fucking know my life story. And this is what I come up here for, to prove how
No, but
misogynistic
David
an
would.
asshole
David
you
would rather
are.
her take her and her children and probably be homeless and let the drug addict live in the home. That's what David's trying to say, and that's
hold
that's
on.
what I'm trying to say. I would give
No,
a man
that
just
is
as
okay.
much
No,
shit
that's
for
not what
keeping
we're
his
saying.
kid
Hold
around
on,
a drug addict.
David, one sec. David, one sec. First and foremost, why did he turn into drugs in the first place? Why did he turn to drugs? See, she left. She went a running because we caught her. Trauma. So maybe he was going through trauma. Maybe she was the trauma to him. But no, it's always the man's fault, isn't it?
That's my point.
No, but
You never know.
I'm gonna be honest.
No, it's
Right?
funny
I'm
because if a
gonna be honest,
woman all of a sudden has this kind of trauma and she decides to indulge and have a drug addict or a drug problem, and the husband left her, the husband's bad.
I'm sorry, you can't shut the fuck up long enough.
Okay, so you know what? I understand.
That's what I thought.
and I try to have compassion for everybody in their stories, you know. But I realize just from my own experience, live life experience. So I go off my live life experience. I get the measurement from my brethrens and my other brethren. So like, there's a big group of us that we talk about what's going on here, right? And like when we get with women, they present themselves a certain way, right? And then they get so comfortable that they start becoming nagging and all this stuff. When these things originally they didn't come out, so
Not
that
nagging.
honeymoon phase is over, And now there comes a quantum of a bunch of nagging, which we aren't used to as men, and we don't want to hear as men. If we're gonna live a life together, you got to amalgamate to exactly to the places where it would annoy us the most. And if you're gonna nag in our ears, therefore stress us out. And there's no man that gets with a woman that just wants to leave her, especially when they have kids. Straight up.
Maybe it's not. That's not right. That's false. And you just don't want to fucking listen to them because they're a woman.
You know what?
So
maybe.
So you were perfect, Zappy. Is that what you're saying? You were a perfect wife, and you did everything great, and you just don't know why you turned to drugs.
Wait a minute. Hold on a minute. Maybe y'all should realize that my mom was the perfect wife, and yet she deserved to be beaten, put through a wall. All that shit she was put through for multiple years. She was afraid to leave.
Cherry, she chose this man.
Exactly.
She chose the man, for fuck's sake. You guys have got to
the person my mom married, he was not the same person he was until after they got married. He was totally
So then why didn't she leave him, Cherry? Why didn't she leave him, sweetheart?
Presented another.
Come on, you guys. You guys are jumping shit now. Stop choosing asshole men.
It has nothing to do with me. He turned to drugs because he went into the army and he had PTSD, and when he came home, that's what he turned to deal with it.
Okay, so if that's what he turned to deal with it, then why? Then okay, if that was the case, then obviously it's something happened to him. He's not an asshole of a man for leaving you. It's called trauma. So why is he the asshole for leaving you?
I never said that. I just said there's different circumstances, and it's not always.
What a moron! I really can't.
Okay, I have a question for Zappy.
When they have another option.
Maybe you win. You certainly don't live in any major states.
No, Jimmy, it wasn't that I wasn't there for him. I tried to go to counseling with him. I tried therapy with him. I tried to do everything I could to help him.
Don't explain yourself to these morons. They're too ignorant to understand anything.
All right, Swab. Okay, Swab.
Oh, wait, I know this fucking chick. She's from fucking Brooklyn or something. I've talked to her before. She got the same Thomas bitch voice she had before.
David, shut the fuck up, you dumb.
Is that Foxy or Roxy? Is that Foxy Roxy?
I wouldn't fucking
All right, motherfucking bones. Let's do this.
Okay, so Zappy, I'm wondering, did you not have any friends to turn to for help when you were married to this man?
No, because that sounds like a narcissist relationship she was in.
One friend that I had married into his family, and she took up for him, even though he was being physically and sexually and mentally abusive. She told me I was lying.
Oh, God. So it goes from doing drugs to now sexually, physically, and mentally abusive.
Okay, hang on a second.
Come on.
As a mother,
he did. When he came back from the army, he became a very abusive person.
Okay, so
friends who pull back on.
David, hang on a sec here. Zappy, is it not your responsibility as a mother to do whatever it takes to make sure that your children are safe?
Do you realize that there are men out there that will hunt their spouses down and find them no matter where they are?
Why are we victim blaming? Isn't it up to the
Oh my God, Cherry, you're not really going down that route, really?
Isn't it?
I am, because my mother went down that route, and I've seen it. I've seen my mom lead me to a bloody fault. I am going to go down that road.
In here, but
there's programs that she could have turned to. There's places that people can go right now.
Do you realize though that this was in the early '80s?
She literally said she did not leave this man because she is a Christian and her whole family is Christian. That is not protecting your children to the utmost extreme that you absolutely have to do. That is not protecting your children. Being Christian has nothing to do with making sure your kids are safe. That's the number one rule as a parent. She should have left.
Left her home. That's not left the home. Why should she have to leave her home?
Lucky for you that you did, but not everybody has the means, and you're victim blaming instead of putting the blame where it belongs on the abuser. It belongs.
So we're talking about a man that had PTSD, and so he's the one to blame now because he went to serve his country.
Yes,
and that's a bad man.
But why did he serve his country? He chose to serve for his country, right? He chose to be in the army. He chose to be.
She chose to marry him, dumbass. She chose to stay with him.
The fucking no accountability on women ever. No accountability.
No, the accountability goes to the abuser. And if you don't know that, then you're an abuser yourself.
God, if I was
yes, I must be an abuser because I got a dick between my legs. You're right. Yes, I'm an abuser.
Because of the shit that comes out of your mouth.
Listen to you. Listen to you. You must be the smallest of lipstick. Girl, you're fucking real ugly inside there.
What's between your legs makes you it's what comes out of your mouth.
What's between your legs doesn't matter.
Listen to Foxy Roxy like she thinks that she Fuck.
No.
Oh, wow. Wow.
So is
All
she
right,
going to
Bones.
answer my question, or are we all just going to keep walking?
Yeah,
She's not going to answer your question, Bones. She won't answer your question.
I can't hear her question because your mouth is moving.
Well, I already asked
Well,
it 20 minutes ago, and you were the one to talk right after I finished. So Zappy, go ahead.
Exactly.
Were you victim blaming? Then yeah, then I answered it.
Nobody's victim blaming.
I didn't hear your
asked her a
question, whatever it was.
So I said,
I didn't hear you. I'm
Christian,
sorry.
you literally stated that you did not leave your husband because you and your family are Christians. So
No.
Stop.
No, that's
you
not what
said
I
when you
said.
were here the last time.
But
That
I
is
didn't say
exactly
that
what
I
you
was.
said.
That's not what I said. Hold on. What I said was my mother and my stepmother were devout Christian. They refused to help me get out of the situation, is what I said.
And my question is, why don't you have any friends?
That's what I said.
Okay, so you then said, hang on a sec, David, because she then said that her friends were married into the same family, so she didn't have any friends to help. Now, I don't know about you, but
I only had one friend.
Oh, okay.
I wasn't a popular person. I
That's
grew
right.
up poor in a rich neighborhood. I didn't have friends.
Okay,
Have
that's
you considered the fact that you're an asshole, that you don't have any fucking friends?
No, it sounds like she just didn't have the resources and she didn't have a support system because she was led by a whole bunch of narcissists like this panel.
Hey, Swan, hang on a second.
Exactly, Swan. Thank you. You understand.
She was led by a whole bunch of narcissists that kept her under control, under their thumb, and she had nowhere to go. And obviously, I know that.
Stop, I'm saying there are women's shelters. There are other places you can go to the cop shop. They can help you out. If your situation was that bad, you should have grabbed your kids.
Do you know what they told me?
Everywhere in the United States. So maybe you're privileged where you are, and maybe she wasn't where she is.
You're telling me that every city and every town does not have a cop shop?
By a short story she's giving you.
No, they don't.
You don't.
Oh, God. There's so many what ifs and speculations. Oh, my God.
Like, seriously.
Pretty soon we're going to find out that he was the mayor of the city, and that's why the cops are under his thumb, too. Come on.
She changed her story like 3 different times between the first time she was in this live and then now the time that she's in this.
Exactly.
She's never changed
she
her
didn't.
story.
Exactly. She's just adding to the story. That's right, Zach.
Swan, you weren't here. Cherry, you weren't here.
Yes, I was.
Roxy, you weren't
Yes, I
here.
was because I added her. I've been here the entire time. What are you
Terry
talking about?
invited me up.
It's amazing.
She is
No, you know
literally
what it is? There's
blaming
two
her
sides to be
ex-husband.
story.
Misogyny runs deep in you motherfucking bones, and I feel really, really sad for you.
Okay, but
What
there's
date do you
two
have
sides
to
of each
pick?
story, so why do we have to take one side all the time? And especially if you're asking questions that
Because the
should be
woman's
asked.
always right. The woman's always right. Never question that.
Exactly,
You're
that's the
fucking
problem. So I'm
misogyny.
asking questions. You're getting offended by the questions that we're asking you because it's like, well, you're supposed to
So the
believe me.
choices
Well,
that
no.
he made were my fault? The choices that he made in his life were my fault? Is that what you're saying?
The choices that you made are your fault. The choices you made.
Absolutely, they sure are, and I have never said that they weren't. I accept responsibility for the choices that I have made in my life.
Hold on. This is the host. Let's have Atheist Cats give us some words. Go ahead, Cats.
Yeah. So I've been in here listening. I think part of the problem is how questions are being asked. Usage of certain terms and insulting each other is not going to get anywhere in this conversation. Can we agree on that?
Sure.
Yes. Great.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if that was rhetorical.
Pardon me?
I wasn't sure if that was rhetorical, but
no,
like,
I'm being honest.
Okay, yeah.
Then,
Obviously,
how about I assume we're all adults here. Let's reset so we can actually talk. Because all that's happening is everybody's yelling at everybody, everybody's insulting everybody, and we're not going to get anywhere in any sort of progression. Would you agree?
Holy fuck! Stop fucking psychiatry.